Hello, students. Hope you all are fine, taking care of yourselves, all right, and going through your videos. I hope parents don't have to force you to sit down to study with your lockdown time. A lot of free time is there in your hands, correct? But you are supposed to utilize it judiciously. I know I'm not expecting you to study throughout the day, but at least an hour or two of dedicated study won't cause any harm, right? Okay, let's continue with our biology topic. We were doing plant and animal tissues. So far, what we have seen meristematic tissues. Then last time we did permanent tissues. In that, we saw that permanent tissues are of two types: simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues again can be further categorized into two. What are they? Dermal or protective tissues and ground or supporting tissues. I hope all of you have revised and understood that very well. Let's continue with the next part of simple permanent tissue. So today we shall see what is included in ground or supporting tissues. I don't have to remind you. Hope you are ready with a pen and book to jot down the points. All right. So last time we saw that under simple permanent tissues, the dermal or the protective layer covers the whole plant. And what was that layer known as? Epidermis, correct? This time we are focusing on the supporting tissues. They are also known as ground tissues. So you can see here that the ground tissues or supporting tissues help the plants by storing food. They also provide mechanical strength to the plants. Now, what is providing mechanical strength? The plants need support to stand straight. All right, otherwise they will all start toppling down. So that strength provided to the plant is by this ground tissues. And what are the types of ground tissues that you are going to learn? Parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. All right, so what you're looking at is basically the three types of ground tissue: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Let's begin with the first type of tissue, that is parenchyma. Now parenchyma tissues, if you remember, the outer tissues, that is the epidermis, which were the protective tissues. Now below that will be the cells which makes up the entire plant. So parenchyma cells basically are found all over the plant, right from its roots to the stems, the leaves, the flowers and fruits. All right, now these cells are living, okay, and they have thin walled. As you can see here in the image, you can see the walls are thin and there are slight intercellular spaces, very less, and almost they are closely packed. Okay, so there may or may not be intercellular spaces, and these are the most unspecialized cells. Now what do you mean by the word unspecialized cells? Now the meristematic tissue which was giving birth to new cells in the plant, all right, at the shoot tip and at the root tip, those cells will graduate or mature to form parenchyma. And it is from parenchyma you will find the various other specializations take place. So basically meristematic tissues are there, followed by them, the moment they give birth to new cells, the new cells are going to get elongated and move towards permanency. All right, they will become permanent cells. And again, what are permanent cells? That means they will not be able to divide any further. Their journey gets over once they become specialized. In that, parenchyma is forming the bulk of the plant. Okay, and what happens is that these cells take up any role given to them, so they are unspecialized cells. You can see that there are no depositions on the cell wall except for the cellulose. All right, so plant cells will have plasma membrane and a supporting cell wall. So the cell wall is there, but there are no other depositions, and there is a prominent nucleus. They have just highlighted it here. Prominent nucleus seen, cytoplasm and vacuoles. All right, now the vacuoles are large and many secretions such as starch or oil are present in these cells. Okay, some parenchyma cells, especially the ones present in the leaves, may contain chloroplast and are called as chlorenchyma. Just because of the presence of chloroplast, we differentiate these parenchyma cells from the rest by calling them as chlorenchyma. And what shall be the function of these chlorenchyma cells? Right, it will be photosynthesis. Okay, so chlorenchymas are responsible for photosynthesis. Then there are certain parenchyma cells which are associated with storage of starch, storage of oil, storage of food. So they will have different roles taken over, and there are even cells which have large air bubbles. They are same as vacuoles, but apart from the vacuoles, they will have air filled sacs in them, which helps the plant float. So that means these type of specialized parenchyma cells you will find in the aquatic plants. In the aquatic plants, the plants needs to keep itself afloat, right? And so to maintain that buoyancy, now just you can have a quick analogy here with your what do you call those rubber tubes, right? When you learn swimming, the beginners are given those inflated rubber tubes or which are filled with air, which will help you keep afloat. Similarly, the cells, the parenchyma cells with lot of air packed vacuoles are helping the plant keep itself afloat. Now they also control processes such as respiration and protein synthesis in a plant. Okay, they kind of help the plant in wound healing and regeneration. And though they become permanent cells, but still some parenchyma cells still have retain the ability to divide. So this is the reason why parenchyma cells are very important for the plants, because they kind of form the bulk of the tissues. They help to divide, especially when there's a wound healing required or regeneration of the plant cells is required. And along with that, they perform specialized functions. All right, so you will have to remember these characteristics, and you can expect questions like, we might give you a diagram and you're supposed to identify the type of tissue by looking at the diagram. So for that, you have to justify your answer. And when we ask you to justify your answer, you should be able to give us the attributes or characteristics of those tissues that you're observing in the diagram. All right, you need to remember the characteristics. What are they? Let's have a quick recap. Cells are living, they are thin walled, they are closely packed. All right, they are the most unspecialized cells, simplified cells, and there are no depositions seen in the cell wall. All right, they have a prominent nucleus, cytoplasm and vacuoles. Now let us see the different types of parenchyma. As I was explaining, let us have a quick look at them. So what are they? The special types of parenchyma tissues, the storage, what I was talking about, the cells are enlarged to store nutrients and water. They will also store food and oil, as I mentioned. Erenchyma, the word will help you. Erenchyma, air cavities are present in the parenchyma tissue to provide buoyancy to the aquatic plants. Now let me mention here, in the textbook there is no mention of aerenchyma. The textbook only mentions chlorenchyma. So I am expecting all of you to note down this point, and you will not say that it is not there in the textbook, so we did not remember or we did not learn about it. Okay, note it down. When you come back to school, we will add this point in your textbook so that it is remembered. Whenever you refer your textbook, this point is also seen. So two types of parenchyma tissue, aerenchyma and chlorenchyma. All right, now aerenchyma, again the word air will help you. It maintains the buoyancy of the plants, aquatic plants, right? Chlorenchyma. These parenchyma cells have presence of chlorophyll and hence can perform the function of photosynthesis. Parenchyma tissue is found generally in all parts of the plant body, and hence it forms the ground tissue in leaves, stem, roots, fruits, etc. Okay, so three very important functions that parenchyma does: photosynthesis, buoyancy of plants, and storage of nutrients and water. I hope you're clear about parenchyma. All right, let's quickly go through the functions of parenchyma. They serve as packaging tissue. As I said, they form the bulk of the plant. By providing turgidity, they provide mechanical strength. Now, turgidity is a new term. You will have to remember this term throughout because it's there again in your grade 9th and 10th. So I expect you to understand it carefully. Now, how will you understand the term turgidity? Now, if I give you the analogy of a dried grape or a raisin and that of a fresh grape, okay? So your dried grape or raisin is flaccid, whereas your fresh grape full of water is turgid, okay? And even more simplified, a very vague relation, but you can relate to it, is your balloons. When you fill the balloons with air or water, it gets inflated, and that is the condition of our cells when they are live and full of cytoplasm. So that is a turgid condition. All right, students, when the cytoplasm comes out of the cell, whether the cell is got damaged or the cell has died, whatever reason, then the cell loses its turgidity. Okay, so only when the cells are turgid, they will be able to provide that mechanical strength or support to the plants. All right, so this parenchyma cells are loaded with cytoplasm to maintain their cell turgidity, and that helps in providing the mechanical support to the plants. Parenchyma also serves as a food storage tissue. The transport of material occurs through cell or cell walls of parenchyma cells, okay, from wherever they are being transported, whatever material, it could be water and minerals, it could be food, they are just passed from one cell to another cell through the cell walls of the parenchyma cells. And parenchyma cells are metabolically active. I told you earlier also, they control processes such as respiration and protein synthesis, extremely important for a plant survival. Okay, and those processes along with photosynthesis are controlled by the parenchyma cells. So they are metabolically active. All right, what is metabolism? Metabolism is the sum total of all the processes that happen in an organism's body, in your body, in my body, in any living organism's body. There are various processes. They are called as metabolic reactions, and under them all the life processes can be listed. All right, so the parenchyma cells are metabolically active as they control various life processes like respiration, protein synthesis, and photosynthesis. Clear with this? Shall we move on to the next, collenchyma? Collenchyma cells are the tissues, or the collenchyma tissues are found beneath the epidermis in all the green parts of the plant. Now that is very specific. Here they have mentioned of dicotyledon stem and petiole. All right. So they will be present in all the tissues which are green. The cells are longer than the parenchyma cell, okay, and these cells also occur in the midrib of the dicot leaves, okay. Now these cells again are living cells. Why are we constantly saying that these cells are living, these cells are living? Because eventually, as you study about the complex tissue, you will realize that in spite of being a part of a living plant, cells also can be dead, and they are important. All right. So you need to understand that there is a difference between a cell which is living and carrying out some important function. A cell, in spite of being dead, is equally important for the plant. How? I will explain as we move on to the type of cells which turn dead. All right. Of course, they cannot be born dead. Come on. I mean, that's such a contradictory statement. How can you be born dead? So they are born alive, obviously, yes. But when they mature, they die. And after their death, the main role that they are providing to the plant actually comes in light. Now, due to the presence of the cellulose in the corners of the cells, the corners appear thickened, and which might also appear uneven in the cross section, okay. So this thickness you can see at the corner is because of cellulose deposition, okay. These cells will have a living cytoplasm, and they will remain alive for longer periods of time. What do? They provide flexibility to the organs such as leaves and flower parts. They provide mechanical strength to the plant body. So this thickening will whatever you can see, the cells are thickened, they have a thickened cell wall. It is all because of the extra deposition of the cellulose. All right, cellulose is a very complex substance. It is in fact a complex carbohydrate which provides extreme strength to plant cell, and animal cells are not having that complex extra support. All right. Why? Because animals have support in the form of either a exoskeleton outside the body, right, like a shell, okay, like scales, or internal protection is provided by the internal skeleton. So in animal cells there is no cell wall. Only in the plant cell there is a cell wall, and which I clearly hope that you remember from your grade 6 chapter study of cell. In that we had done the differentiation which mentions about this major difference between a plant cell and an animal cell, right? So the cellulose extra deposition is seen on the corners of the cell, and they that makes them provide mechanical strength to the leaves and the floral parts. All right, let's have a look at the functions. See, there are different images: lacunar, angular, and lamellar. These are nothing, you don't have to worry about the names. These are just the images of different forms of the shapes of collenchyma cells due to the excess cellulose deposition. Okay. Functions of collenchyma: it is a mechanical tissue and protective in function. The cells are living, that is non-lignified. Lignin again is a complex structure which provides support to the plant parts. So this is non-lignified. That means there is no lignin deposition, only cellulose is there, and they contain few chloroplasts. So their main function is providing mechanical support and protective in function. All right, these are the functions of collenchyma. The next is sclerenchyma. Now, sclerenchyma cells are extremely rigid. They have thick cell walls which are made up of lignin. Now, what is lignin? Lignin is a very complex hydrocarbon. Don't worry, hydrocarbon is nothing but a chemical which is made up of hydrogen and carbon. As you go in higher classes, you will learn about this type of chemicals, right? For now, just understand that lignin is something which is very complex. Okay, these cells are tightly packed with hardly any intercellular spaces, or they don't have rather intercellular spaces. Okay, these are dead cells as they have no protoplasm. So when they are formed, so when meristematic tissues give birth to these cells, eventually as they mature, they lose out on their cytoplasm. The moment cytoplasm is lost, the cells die. But because of that lignin on their cell wall, they become the kind of skeletal support that the plant needs. So they provide mechanical strength and support to the plant body. Fine. Now these are found in roots, veins of leaves, hard covering of seeds and nuts. So here you can see, due to excessive thickening of the wall of sclerenchyma cells, its cell cavity or lumen is nothing but a cavity, a hole, becomes nearly absent. The inner part is shrinking and the lignin is taking over. So you can see there's hardly any cavity, cell cavity, nothing but all the thick things that you can see here is deposition of lignin. All right. Now in this also there are different types. They are mainly of two types, the cells of sclerenchyma. They are called as sclerids and fibers. Let's have a look at the two types of cells, the sclerids and fibers. Now what are sclerids? Sclerids are those sclerenchyma cells that are randomly distributed throughout the tissue and their length and width are same. So they are shorter, fatter than the fibers. Fibers, the name itself, you can understand they are fiber-like. And sclerids are more rounder or fatter. And they have heavily lignified cell walls. Where they are usually found? They are found in the cortex and pith. Now cortex and pith are nothing but the internal cells of the plants. So you have epidermis as your outer covering, then the cortex cells are there. So cortex cells are basically parenchyma cells only, but in between them you will find this sclerids. They may occur in isolation, that means separately in the cortex, pith, xylem and phloem, or may occur in the groups of the seed coats. Okay, seed cover. You remember tegmen and testa, the seed cover we had studied way back in grade 5. I know you must be smiling now. Who remembers grade 5, right? But students, I'm telling you, all the concepts that you are learning, you just cannot afford to erase them. You will have to retain them and add on to it more knowledge year after year, right? Now because of their roundish structure, they are also called as stone cells. Okay, so they'll appear like stones in between the cortex cells. That is why they are called as stone cells. Now coming to the fibers. How are fibers? They are long, thickened cell walls with thick lignified walls. Again, lignified means deposition of lignin, and a narrow lumen. What is lumen? Cavity, hole. The cell will have a narrow lumen, and these fibers, or the type of fibers, that is the sclerenchyma cells, are arranged in threads which are found in association with lot of other plant tissues. It could be associated with roots, it could be associated with stems or leaves or fruits. Okay, their ends are typically narrowing, like pointed. You can see that they are having pointed ends. These cells are having pointed ends. Then the fibers are found as I mentioned in xylem and phloem. Now xylem and phloem, these words are new for you. Don't worry. Soon we will be covering them up. These are the complex permanent tissue that we will be studying in our next video. So these fibers are also found in the xylem and phloem because, as I told, they are providing the lengthwise support to the plants. Okay, they provide mechanical strength and protection to the non-growing regions. The regions which are not growing, there these fibers, the sclerenchyma fibers, are providing strength or mechanical support. Is that clear? So we can see that sclerenchyma is basically a very thick tissue with lot of lignin deposition, and eventually they lose out on their protoplasm or cytoplasm and they die. After that, what happens? They become like, they start becoming very hard in terms of providing that required support to the plant, either in isolation, individually they will be found in some cells, or they will form fiber-like structures and provide that support to the non-growing regions of the plant. Is that clear, students? So basically we have covered 3 types of simple permanent tissues today. What are they? Parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Out of these, parenchyma and collenchyma were living tissues, whereas sclerenchyma is a type of dead tissue. And what are the roles of them individually? Parenchyma does 2-3 important functions: storage, providing buoyancy to the plant, photosynthesis, respiration, right, and protein synthesis. Collenchyma are more for support of the leaves and the floral part, correct? Sclerenchyma is completely a tissue which is providing the mechanical support to the plant parts, entire plant, maybe in the form of stone cells or maybe in the form of fibers. Is that clear? Now let's have a look at the exercise here. So I've given you images and you are supposed to answer the questions based on those images. All right, then there's match the following. You just need to rewrite the pairs from group A and group B. That's all for today, and you please write the exercises. I will be sending out the email ID of our school where you will complete your work, and ask your parents to send a picture of your completed work. That I will be talking to principal ma'am, and send a proper circular to a grade 6, 7th and 8th parents, so that we get the completed work that we are giving towards the end of the videos. I want to see the work done by the children. All right, take good care of yourself and stay safe. Bye for now.